the week after Thanksgiving in nice sunny Ocean City where the temperatures are about 20, but the sun is out and it's just beautiful down here.
Yes, we're coming live from the 1040 in Ocean City, Maryland. Yes, everybody's here enjoying hearing from tax speaker and Ron Roberson on doing a great job.
Absolutely. And I have to admit, as much as I hate to sometimes, this has been a great seminar because I have learned so much about little provisions of the new tax law that I never even thought about. And I've read through it 100 times, and yet I'm picking up little things that will help my clients out. And hopefully everybody who goes to these seminars will find something to help their clients.
Wonderful. Yeah, we're on the second day of a 2-day event. So yes. I'm finishing up today. And then we have our EA ethics and CPA ethics and Maryland tax update tomorrow. So we've had a full week down here in Ocean City.
Well,
but it's been fun, but chilly.
Yep.
Yes. So, but thank you for joining us this morning. You're going to be talking a little bit later on about the payroll class that you're going to be teaching for us at Turf Valley on December 13th. And also joining us in a little bit will be Jeremy Freeman. And Jeremy, who works for Websites for Tax Pros, will be joining us. Jeremy's company has been with us for many years as corporate sponsors, so we're happy to have him join us a little bit later.
Yes, and Jeremy's a nice guy, and our company uses him for our website, and we've been very pleased with everything that's gone on. And it's nice because if there's something you don't like, you see Jeremy at one of the seminars that you can beat up on him to make sure that you get it the way that you want it.
So always remember
yeah, exactly. So that's one of the nice things about using our corporate sponsors is, they're going to do a good job for you because they have to run into you time and time again.
Okay. Hopefully they continue to be corporate sponsors. Up a little bit. Oh my God. But before we get started on that, we're getting to the year end here. And a lot of our employees has flexible spending plans.
Yes, they do.
And some of them have funds still available they haven't used. And so this is a good time for you to sit down and meet with your employees and talk a little about that. And because they don't want to lose it.
That's correct. And FSAs are use it or lose it, whereas the HSA plans, the money that they don't spend builds up in that account and it continues to operate like an IRA account. But the FSA, the flex spending accounts, that money must be used. And if not, it gets forfeited back to your employer.
Right. And so it's great for you to take your time and to meet with your employees at this time about that, especially if you have those plans in your office. In some cases, many of your employees or some of your employees may not know what they can use these plans for. I mean, it's pretty wide range.
It is. And one of I'm not trying to plug Aflac or anything, but they're probably one of the biggest employee benefit companies that's out there. You can bring an Aflac rep in, and there's probably lots of things that the employee could sign up for as Aflac benefits to use their FSA dollars before the end of the year.
Right. And not only can they use it for medical, but they can use it for vision and dental. And I was really surprised that you could actually use it for sunscreen, SPF 30 and above.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either. Also for acupuncture. And actually you can cover it for prenatal vitamins. Well, that one I knew about, but it's interesting that what you can use the FSA for.
Yeah.
It's not just for prescriptions.
Right. I used the FSA last year because I have to spend a lot of time listening to people all the time, so my hearing has gone bad. So
really,
so I had to get hearing aids, and I used my FSA account to buy my hearing aids.
Wonderful. Well, that's great. So again, if you or your clients have FSA programs, you might just put a little note in their ear, drop them an email and say, hey guys, end of year, make sure they're using it because you don't want to lose it.
Right.
Yeah. So the other part of this, again, we are into the holiday season and, and also coming with tax season. And sadly, what comes with the holiday season is the possibility of scams, people stealing identity. Not that it's bad enough during the rest of the time, but it seems to really increase during the holiday season.
Yes, it does, unfortunately. And one of the easy things that everybody should just be looking at on their own personal thing and then possibly recommending it to their clients is if you go out and you buy a wallet for somebody as a Christmas gift this year, consider getting one that has RFID blocker in it.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
So that way, when they carry credit cards and things like that in their wallet, scammers can't be walking past them and scanning their wallet and getting their credit card numbers and things like that from them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something to think about while you're out there doing your shopping, how you can protect your loved ones.
You know, it's interesting. The IRS is actually, next week is their third annual National Tax Security Awareness Campaign. And that runs the whole week. And because of this issue, and it's not just for the tax preparers, but it's also for the taxpayers.
Right.
And they have really bringing this to the forefront because of the huge scams that we're seeing out there. So starting next week, every day, the IRS is going to be putting out a notice about how to protect your data and your financial and all your financial records.
So are they going to be sending that out as an email from their IRS's website, or is it just going to be on just a post on their website?
It's just going to be a post. It's just one post. But in addition to that, they are doing a free public webinar on December 3rd, on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is going to be for not only for the taxpayer, but the tax preparers as well, about, you know, stolen identities, credit data, tax information, and how to provide and protect your information. It's called the dark web. That's the term that everybody seems to be using here lately.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate the way things go, but just yesterday I got an email from somebody who is, they say that they have found me on dark websites, and that if I don't pay them $189 by today, that they will be sending out notices to all of my contacts on my list and everything else. So obviously when you get an email like that, you want to be sure you don't click through it.
Right.
Because, you're giving them all of your information at that point in time.
Right.
But, if you're going to be out there stealing somebody's identity and trying to ruin them, you probably want to get more than $189. So it really is a scam. And everybody should be aware of those. And they come up all the time. I just think that it happens a little bit more this time of the year because they want Christmas money too.
Exactly. And that's sadly, yes. But, this not only about the dark web, but also about the FSAs, as a tax preparer, I know you do an e-weekly or a weekly newsletter to your clients.
Yes,
these are
do.
Great information that you can share, that we're sharing with you guys, that you can use in your articles that you send out to your clients.
Right.
Because I think that's a really useful tool.
Absolutely it is. And, one of the things that as tax professionals we have to be careful of is guarding our clients' data that we have in our computers. So, probably more this time of the year than any other, make sure when you leave at night, you turn off your computer so that way your hard drive isn't being vulnerable. Make sure that you've updated your firewall software and things like that, just to do everything that you can on your side to protect your clients at your office. Most of us have gone to a paperless environment, so all of that's sitting on your hard drive, and you just need to protect that as much as you can. If you use a cloud service or whatever, consider going to a two-factor authentication. I use Ease Technologies for our cloud service.
You are a corporate sponsor.
Yes. And I have a two-factor authentication that the employees have to get a code on their cell phone in order to be able to log into their desktop. And that way, hopefully it eliminates that. And even though we're not required under the same rules as HIPAA, if you follow the HIPAA regulations for your security on your system, I don't think anybody could ever come after you for a malpractice type thing. But if you're very lax with your security and it's too easy to get to, I would be very mindful of the fact that you could be setting yourself up for liability that way.
Right.
So just look out for yourself.
And also, I think it's important too to take a little bit of time to sit down with your staff and to reiterate the importance of protection and the security and everything, because it is a holiday. It's a joyous time, and which is great, and we all like to relax a little bit during this time before we get into tax season.
Sure.
So, but this is why they're hitting us.
Right.
This is the time. So
And
make sure.
Yeah, and one of the other things to think about is if your employees generally take files home, or they have a laptop computer that they take home and things like that, make sure that if they're going to go shopping after they leave the office, that they either leave their computer at the office until they're finished shopping, or they take it home first and then go back out. That way, all of your client data isn't exposed sitting in their car while they're out shopping. If their car gets stolen, the client data gets stolen.
Right. Well, this is good information. So from there, let's talk about a little bit about your payroll seminar coming up. Wow, this is you're getting thrown in here.
Yes, I am.
And we appreciate it.
On December the 13th, we'll be having a payroll update seminar at Turf Valley in Columbia, Ellicott City area. So if anybody wants to come, there's still plenty of spaces for you to line up. And there's also spaces still available on our webinar.
Yes.
Some of the things that we're going to be talking about, not necessarily, I'm going to say payroll taxes. I'm not going to teach you how to fill out a 941 and a 940. We're going to be talking about issues that affect you as a tax preparer, such as the independent contractor rules. And in light of the new QBI deductions, we need to really look at the subcontractor issues, because if your clients make over the threshold amount of, I think it's $415,000 or $315,000 on married filing joint, and they have to start bringing payroll into the equation in order to get their QBI deduction, subcontractors are not going to be counted as part of the wages for increasing their QBI deduction. So that's one of the things that we need to look at. Also, this past year, I know with us, we had several clients who got unemployment audits where they're looking only at subcontractors and making sure that those people truly are subcontractors and not subject to unemployment. And for the most part, if you're subject to unemployment, you're probably going to be, and I'm not saying always, probably be subject to payroll taxes. So you're going to have to withhold federal and state and FICA and everything else. And then as the employer, you're going to have to match that. So be careful that you're taking care of that up front and you're not waiting for this huge liability to grow and then you get hit with it and you get crushed.
Yeah. Actually, I think I heard recently that the IRS is actually looking closer at the 940 and doing more audits on that side too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that one yet.
Yeah.
But, one of the other big things is, we all know how difficult January can be getting W-2s and 1099s and everything else out. Just remember that there's a filing deadline of January 31st, and it used to be that you could get an automatic 30-day extension to file those forms. Well, that extension is no longer automatic. You have to apply for the extension.
Really? Now that I did not know.
Yes, and they can or cannot grant you that extension. It's not automatic anymore. So make sure that you're getting everything taken care of now. And if you're operating as a sole proprietor or as an LLC, and any of your clients are paying you more than $600 on your business clients, you make sure that they're issuing you a 1099.
Yes.
And this year, it's also a requirement that they issue 1099s to the landlords for the rents that are being paid. So this is the first year for that requirement.
Oh, okay.
It's always been there, but they're cracking down on it this year.
They're cracking down on that.
Yep.
Yeah, you do. I mean, how many payrolls do you do, Bill?
We do about 50-ish payrolls.
Okay.
And we do about 200 businesses in our office. So even though, and we operate as an LLC, so all of our corporate clients need to issue us 1099s.
Mm-hmm.
So we are actually considering changing our entity choice for next year just to avoid having to do all those 1099s, because there's a lot of them that only need to do one 1099, and that's for paying me.
Gotcha.
So we're trying to cut that down for the clients and things like that, because of course you have to charge your clients for doing this. So, keep in mind what that extra cost is for them. One of the things that has happened this year on that I want to talk about is workman's comp insurance. As an employer, you've always been required to carry workman's comp insurance when you're employees. If you're a closely held business in Maryland, you're allowed to elect out of workman's comp for officers of the corporation. But you really should spend some time looking at your unemployment and making sure that you're getting and using all of the unemployment insurance that you're paying for. So if you have an administrative person who's working for you and you're paying them $20,000 or $25,000 a year, look at what your minimums are on your workman's comp policy, because in a lot of cases that's $50,000 or $60,000, $100,000. So if you're only covering the employee and you're not covering yourself in there, you're paying for insurance that you're not getting any benefit from.
Oh.
So with the closely held corporation and the officer, that's an annual election that you can make. So you can elect in and out of that. So make sure that if you're paying for insurance that you're not using, make sure that you elect into the workman's comp and at least get through to your minimums and things like that.
That's a good information. Thank you, Bill.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
One of the other items that I think is a hot topic, and we'll be discussing it more at the payroll seminar, and I'm going back to the independent contractors, is the IRS really looks at, the multi-factor thing. And control is a huge plus on their side. So when you think about what you use your independent contractors for, if you have any kind of control over what they do, that is almost a guarantee that you're going to be an employee.
Yes.
So, I try to explain to clients time and time again, your accountant, they're the pure independent contractors. You give me your work, I provide the staff, I provide the computers, I provide the software. I do everything that's involved in that on my schedule. All you're concerned with is the end product that it be delivered. That's an independent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
When you tell somebody they have to be to work at 8 o'clock every morning, and I give you the tools and give you everything that you need to do your job for that day, probably not a contractor,
right,
even though you want to pay them that way.
Mm. Well, wow. It sounds like it's going to be a great seminar.
And
again, it's going to have a seminar and a webinar.
Yes.
It's a 2-hour event, and it's from 3:30 to 5:30.
Right. And if you're interested, that's a whole day of CPE up there, because we'll also be doing ethics classes that day. We'll be doing a Maryland tax update and the payroll update. So consider spending the entire day with us up in Hunt Valley that day.
No, Turf Valley.
Turf Valley, I'm sorry.
Wrong valley.
Wrong valley.
Wrong county. Okay. Well, thank you again, Bill, for joining us this morning.
Sure, no problem.
I will be there. I will be attending.
Okay.
Okay, great. So now I'm going to turn over. We're doing a little pivot here. And now we have Jeremy. Good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning, Sandy.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
So again, and also thank you for your continued support of the society and on what you do for our attendees here when they come to the seminars. So Jeremy, I understand you have the websites for Tax Pros, which is, if you're not on the internet, you better get there.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about it.
Absolutely. So websites for Tax Pros, we build websites for pretty much everyone who is a Maryland Society attendee and hopefully member. So we're a low-cost provider. We are $99 for the setup of the website, and then just $49 per month. That's a special for anyone who attends a Maryland Society seminar.
Wow.
We provide custom templates. We provide all the content, a lot of the things that Bill and Sandy were talking about, all the IRS updates. Those automatically get published to your website. We do provide that as a service. So we pull from them, we pull from the AICPA, we pull from pretty much everywhere to make sure that your website stays up to date. So you don't actually have to publish these things on a regular basis. So we take a lot of stuff off of your plate, because we all know that January to about April, you're not touching your website. And that's okay, because we go on autopilot for that, so you don't have to worry about it.
Wow. Now, if I wanted to start and consider doing this, how long does it usually take to get a website up and running?
Usually we say about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
It varies based on the time of year. We're entering our busy season because everybody wants to get up and running for tax season.
Sure.
But still, if you have a particular deadline, we always meet that. We just meet with you and we do it as quickly as possible.
So you can, make it to really represent the person. It's not a template. You can adjust it and, make it unique a little bit for any special person, right?
Yes. We start with templates. However, every single website that we do is unique for the individual user. There are many companies out there that will just give you, this is what you pay for, this is what you get. We're more, what area are you in? If you focus on Ellicott City, we can focus on that. If you're in Greenbelt, we can do that. If you're in Ocean City, we can do that as well. So we give you a starting point, because we know that many tax professionals are not designers, but we give you a starting point, and then you can say, okay, well, my logo's red, but the template is orange, or I want this menu over here, or that one over there. So we're a lot more flexible than many companies out there, because we only deal with tax professionals, enrolled agents, CPAs, financial planners.
But if there was something that I wanted to get there, say, for instance, I need to get a message out, there's a little back end that I could actually make some tweaks as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
And many of our clients do choose to do that. So you have the power of a web developer if you want one,
Okay.
or you can do it yourself. That window that we always, know everyone's busy, January to April, you're not going to be doing it. But come June, when we see people at the seminars, they say, oh, hey, can I get a login to the website? And we'll do a quick sit down. Hey, here's how you add a page. We have a lot of clients now getting into blogging that are, hey, there's this new IRS regulation. There's a new payroll change. And they want to start posting that just individualized for their clients that maybe deal only in restaurants. We have one client that he services hairdressers. He has 100 or 200 hairdressers.
Oh, wow.
And he posts specifically about that. And it's great because they have different requirements than everyone else.
That's awesome. Now, how about if I need to interact a little bit with my tax software, like with the portals and everything, does that work with you, the websites that you're building as well?
It does. It
Okay,
does.
great.
So if you have tax software that is that provides a portal, we can just link that in.
Okay.
Or if you don't have a portal, or the one that your tax software provides is cost prohibitive, we offer the Citrix share file. So that actually starts at just $19 per month when you pay annually. And that includes one user for your office. So if you're a small office with just a couple people, you can get by with just one sort of generic account. And then you get an unlimited amount of client accounts. So if you have 500 clients, you don't pay more for each of those client accounts. So then they can actually log in and publish files to you. One of my favorite things about ShareFile is the fact that we can install a little widget on your website that someone can just go to the website, click send a file, and they go click browse, and then upload their QuickBooks file that's 2 gigabytes, and it'll go right to ShareFile. So, because we all know people forget their passwords all the time, and no one wants to go in and reset it and email it to them. So this is just another way to get files to you, and you can then retrieve them and file them appropriately.
And it's all, so with what Bill and I were talking about with the security and everything, this is there's security behind with the portals and everything. It's really great. Having that and just say, because I know we have some clients that just decide to attach things to emails and just throw them out there.
Right.
And you just almost wish you would reach through and just smack that.
Right. ShareFile avoids all of that.
Yes.
Where they just take possession of the file. So it never goes via email. One of the options, if they don't want to go to the website and send the file directly from there, you can actually just send them the file directly with a secure link, and then just click the link, and then they're off and running. Or, of course, they can log into their portal. Citrix also has some plugins for Microsoft Outlook. So if you want to send it directly from Outlook, what it does is it attaches it to ShareFile, and then it doesn't actually attach the file. It attaches an encrypted link, and then you send it off. So you don't actually have to, do anything different than what you're doing now. If you're sending items now via email, which you of course shouldn't be if it's secure,
no.
but you can actually, it'll work the same way that you do now.
Right. Now, you want to share your phone number with the group?
Yeah. So you can check out our website at websitesfortaxpros.com, and our phone number is area code 302-401-4717.
Wonderful. And website?
It's just websitesfortaxpros.com, all spelled out.
Wonderful. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I learned a couple things I did not know about, actually.
I learned about payroll taxes, and I'm actually going to ask Bill about some of these questions that he already covered.
That's wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Well, just before we close out, I just want to remind everyone that we will not have a show next week. I will be vacationing for a week. Yay. I will be taking a little trip out to Colorado. Also, I just want to remind everyone, remember, get your P10 renewed. December 31st is the due date. Remember to get it done. Don't wait until the 31st. Get it done now, because you never know what the IRS system might be going down. So don't wait. Bill wants to pop back in with a last comment.
Well, Sandy, if you're headed to Colorado, just remember, while marijuana might be legal in Colorado, it's still illegal to travel with it.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Well, thank you all for joining us this morning. And thank you, Bill, for joining us. And I want everyone to have a wonderful day and stay warm.
Take care.
Bye-bye now.